Hi, what if I told you that it's never too late to change your life and that everybody can do it? And you can do it with 3 simple steps. My name is Sam, I am 42 and I was recently forced to reinvent my entire life. For those who don't know me, I'm Italian, like if it wasn't clear from my accent. And I spent the last 17 years of my life working in many different countries for large corporations. In my last role, I was Senior Marketing Director for a CPG company. And for those who don't know what a CPG company is, it's simply those large multinational companies who sells packaged goods in supermarkets, Amazon. But what is really specific is that they have huge marketing budgets. They literally spend tons of money, tens of millions of euros or dollars, depending on where you're based, just in advertising to convince you and me, of course, to buy their products over the competition. Fun job, right? Your question then should be, why did you have to reinvent your life? Fantastic job, large company, you travel in many countries. Well, not so fast. The reason was simply because I lost my job. And not because I was not good at it, just because I was working and living in Russia. And unless you lived in a cave for the past 18 months or so, you exactly know what happened there, and you can imagine that Russia lately means troubles. So in June 2022, my company has been among those who publicly stated that they were going to cease the operation in the country, and therefore they left. And with them leaving, I lost my job. But today I'm not here to tell you about the story about how I left Russia and what I did afterwards. That is going to be the subject of another video. Today I'm more focused about why I wanted to reinvent my life, why I had to change something in my life to be happy again. So let's start. And now I'm gonna say something quite controversial that people might say, it's a cliche, it's rhetoric. But this is truly how I feel. And I will say that losing my job has been the best thing that could have happened in my life. And for one simple reason, because if I wouldn't have lost my job, I wouldn't have come to the realization that I was no longer happy, that I didn't like what I was doing. I would have kept going to the office every day, but deep inside feel miserable. But wait, I'm not saying that it wasn't painful. It was woefully painful. And to be honest, sometimes it still is. But this is the trick. This is really where the magic happens. And I really want you to suspend your judgment for a few seconds. So I can explain you why I'm saying this. I'm gonna say that pain is the trick. That situation where magic really happens. And for one very simple reason. Man is designed to avoid pain. I will repeat it again. Man is designed to avoid pain. Do you remember the saying, fight or flight? This is exactly what it means. Either we fight against something which is causing us pain, or we just run away. We try to avoid pain at all costs. So pain, emotional, physical, you name it, is exactly the trigger that enables change, because change is what allows us to escape and to move away from pain. But the problem is, if you don't feel pain or you don't recognize the pain, then you're not going to be able to change, or you're going to find it extremely difficult. Just think for a second, how many times it happened in your life, or at least to me it happened many times, that someone came to you and said, my friend, you need to change this or it's gonna end badly. Many times. But the problem is that most of the times, as what they are asking us to change is not relevant to us, or it's not causing pain in the short term, we just say yes, but it's really not a committed yes. Or we just give them a shrug and say whatever. So This is exactly why we are not able to change when we get external inputs that don't affect our emotional state or our physical state, and they don't cause pain. This is why sometimes tough discussions are absolutely needed. So thanks to pain, I was forced to think. I was forced to understand what really mattered, and I was forced to think what I liked, and I was forced to think in general about my life. After I lost my job, I will be honest with you, I was in total shock. And I have been in shock for few months. And then at one point in time, I realized I was stuck and that I really needed external help. So I started to work with a coach and a psychologist or a therapist, depending on how you want to call it. And this with the sole objective to understand where this pain was coming from and what could have been the next stage of my life. And here comes the first tip, guys. Don't be ashamed of seek for external help. If you are in pain or if you don't know where you're going, it means that you need to seek for external help. And by external help, I don't necessarily mean a psychologist, a therapist, a coach. It also simply means talking to your friend and family. And just a simple act of verbalizing your feeling, expressing your fears, expressing your pain will help you move to the next phase. And of course, if you really want to seek for professional helpers, for someone that listen as their job, then of course, go to a psychologist, go to a therapist, hire a coach. It's a tiny investment in terms of money, but that can yield amazing return in the long run. But first and foremost, you need to make me one favor. You need to stop feeling ashamed of seeking for help. We live in this culture where if you seek for external help, it means you're weak and that you're not completely normal. No, leave that out of the door. Seeking for help is healthy. Everybody needs to look for external help because most of the times we don't have all the instruments to face our daily situations, and having an external point of view is what can really help us move forward. And the second tip is gonna come straight from my therapist. And he told me you should embrace pain. No matter what, live the pain, feel it, let it in and let it out. And when he told me this, I started to think. And I didn't want to ask why I should do that. I just let it sink for a while. And then I started to look at change patterns. I read a few books. And I came to realize that studies over studies are demonstrating that change follows a standard pattern. There is nothing you can do to change these phases. What you can only do is basically navigate through them at a faster pace. A model which I like about change is the Kubler-Ross, and it basically correlates the time that is needed to change and the emotional state of the change. And it goes through 7 phases which are standard for everybody. I will put it in the slide here so you can see the different phases, which starts with shock and end up with action. Everything in the middle is a journey you have to go through, and as I said before, the only thing you can do is just move it across as fast as you can. And if you don't believe me, pause the video and for 1 second think about a moment in your life when you were forced to change, and you will realize that you can identify every single phase that is described in this model. And if you cannot find one specific phase, it means that you moved across it very quickly. So it doesn't mean that it's not there. It means just that you managed to process that sort of information quite quickly and it almost feels that it's not existing. In a nutshell, I would say that awareness is key. as soon as you manage to identify at which stage you are in, then you would be able to design strategies that can help you move to the next phases and to the next phase and to the next phase. And this is how you can manage change more effectively, because running like headless chicken never helped anybody in changing. The third advice is take the time that is needed. We all have different lives, different commitments, so you shouldn't expect that everybody can change at the same speed, and you shouldn't be too harsh on yourself saying, I am too slow. You will be able to process all the information at your own pace. And be careful. I'm not saying that you should become complacent and just wait and say, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes next week, and then next week becomes next month. But you shouldn't put too much pressure on you, and you should allow yourself to internalize all the messages, all the pain, all the decision that you're trying to make. I know it's not easy, but really it's a fine balance between pushing towards a goal and giving you enough time to process what you're going through. Remember, life is not a 100-meter sprint. Life is a marathon. So even if you're going to take 1 month more to change, then fine, so be it, as long as you're able to go through this change process successfully. And after these 3 tips, I'm going to go through the last part. And the last part, I think, is the most challenging. And it has to deal not with the what to do, what to change, how to do it, how to change it, but it's really about the why you want to change. And change only happens if you have a strong, compelling reason that is asking to this why question. Why is the purpose of why we are on this planet? Why do we wake up every morning? Why do we feel those feeling in your guts that tells you you have to go for that? That is all purpose. Purpose is the most difficult and at the same time beautiful thing to find out in your life. If you find your why, this is gonna help you stay focused on the goal that you're setting yourself. That is fundamental. Without a why, you are not going to be able to achieve those results. You're going to forget. And at the first problem that you face, you say, okay, too complex, I'm going to give up. Answer to your why. And then you will see that all the rest is going to flow. For those who have kids, just think for a second. When you give them a task, they look at you and say, why, Daddy, should I do this? And they don't do it because they are lazy. Asking the why helps them understanding why that task is important, why they should stop what they are doing and do what you are asking. It helps them feel safe and create their own vision of the world and help them understanding what they can expect and how to define their role in the group and society. And believe me, if the explanation that you're gonna give them is compelling enough, they're gonna do exactly what you ask them to do. In short, understanding my why was the most difficult thing that I had to do. For too many years, I was trapped into this societal role with a fantastic salary, and I was not able to take a step back and understand one simple truth. I was no longer happy and loving what I was doing every day. I was no longer having fun. And I'm not saying that I'm not grateful for those 17 years. I am extremely grateful. The wealth of experience and knowledge I gained, it's invaluable. The people all around the world, some of them are today friends and mentors. I am grateful for that. But nevertheless, I was not happy. And losing my job has been the only thing that helped me opening my eyes and coming to this realization. So I sat down and I dig deeper to understand what I liked, because at the end of the day there must be something that you liked in 17 years if you stayed in the same job, and especially what I didn't like. And I came to a very simple realization. It hit me like a lightning. I love inspiring people in becoming better versions of themselves through passing knowledge. And it can be by recommending a book, by helping them solving a problem they have in the workplace, or also simply what is the best place to spend 1 week with your family for the holidays. And don't get me wrong, of course I had a vested interest in doing so, because if your team is improving, then you achieve better business results. But I realized that I would have done it anyway because I was loving it. And this brings me to the last part of this video. Why I'm here on YouTube with this funny accent putting up content that I'm not even sure if anybody will be interested in. I'm here because even if I can help one single person in becoming a better version of themselves, then I would have helped myself in achieving my purpose. And I will do it by speaking about many different things. I will speak about business, I will speak about marketing, lifestyle, life as an expat, books that I read and I like, with the objective to inspire you to change, to become better versions of you. Because it's never too late to change. Change is normal. You should embrace change and live this life to the fullest. And guys, if you've been here until this point, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me in pushing out content. And it's also time for your 2 bonus tips. I am going to recommend you 2 books. One is Leading Change by Kotter, and the other one is Start With Why of Simon Sinek. They are both great books. They help me a lot, and they speak about change and purpose with a greater detail than what I did today. And I really hope that they will help you kickstart your change journey. So for today, that's all. And thanks for being here. And stay tuned because, as I said before, in my next video, I think I'm gonna cover how we left Russia and what happened in the last 18 months of our lives. Thanks. Ciao, guys.